Awesome. Thank you, Fabian. I really do appreciate your time.
No, I appreciate you, mate. Thank you.
So I just want to start off and say, and I mean this in the most respectful way, it feels like just the other day you were on this two-fight losing streak. Everyone's
Yeah.
underestimating you. Now here we are getting ready for a championship fight. Has any part of this training camp felt a little surreal?
Not so much surreal, but it's MMA. That's how I realized you can lose two, and then before you know it, a couple years later, you're fighting for a world title. So that's what I kind of love about the sport. And yeah, I've done a lot of work to get to where I'm at.
And would you say there's a big difference from you as a fighter since that two losing streak, or just like you were just saying, like it's just a matter of the timing being right?
Yeah, I definitely feel like I've changed. I definitely feel like I've changed. Not even so much just my style, but just mentally. Like mentally, I feel like I've upgraded that part of my game, and yeah, I look forward to going out there and just proving it to myself.
Which one of your last three fights would you say you learned the most from, your wins, that you gained the most from?
I reckon I'll say the Masasi fight because it's a different one between going out and and like smoking someone in the first round. You don't really learn. My coach always say you don't really learn much from that. But to go out there and be a legend like Masasi, that's had about 60 fights or so over 5 rounds, that's where you really pick up your experience and your knowledge from.
Yeah, and I'm sure you've been asked this question before, but growing up in the amateurs and when you're just starting your professional career, did you ever think you'd have Gegard Mousasi and Lyoto Machida on your resume?
Not even, not even. That's what I find. Yeah, I find that mad because there's not many people in the world. I don't know who, but they say they can say they've got Machida and Masasi on their record. So yeah, it feels good. It feels real good.
And so now getting ready for Johnny Eblen. How long have you had your eye on Johnny Eblen? Was it just when he became a champion, or is it before that?
Nah, before that, it was before that. I thought, if I'm honest, I thought me and Johnny probably would have fought. Masasi and Tokov would have fought, and you know what I mean, it would have been one of those ones. But I've had my eye on him, a few of the other guys in the division, and yeah, it feels good to finally get in there and put my hands on that man.
And from my perspective, not training as much, easy to say, oh, Johnny Eblen's a well-rounded fighter,
Yeah,
he's dangerous. But from your perspective, a professional standpoint, what makes him
yeah.
such a dangerous fighter?
Um, if I'm honest, I say it's wrestling because if you was to take away his wrestling, kind of crap, you know what I mean? His boxing is not amazing, so if you was to take away wrestling and he couldn't wrestle people, then yeah, he wouldn't really have much success. So I say his ability to be able to mix his wrestling along with his boxing, that's what I've got him to where he's at.
And so I heard him say in an interview the other day, he plans to overwhelm you. He thinks that all of his skills put together is going to overwhelm you. What do you think about like that specific word being used for a path to victory for him?
Well, for him to overwhelm me, he's gonna have to close the distance, which I'm gonna be right there for him to try close the distance. And you have to be willing to walk through shots. And when I start landing shots, it's different between saying something and when you're in there and shots are landing at your head and flying past your head, then that's gonna change his mentality. So I hope he's ready for that type of game as well, because I'm gonna be right there for him.
And outside of your skills and being able to beat anyone in this
Mm.
division, what makes him a beatable fighter?
I think what makes him a beatable fighter is I don't think he's I think he thinks he's too good. I think he thinks he's better than what he actually is. I think he thinks his boxing better than what he is. I think he thinks his wrestling better than what he is, and yeah, and that's really what he is. I look at his overall game. I see the opponents he's fought, and he's fought some good guys, but they made a lot of like silly mistakes whilst I was fighting him. So yeah,
So what needs to happen for you to win?
I need to go out there and beat Fabian Edwards.
Mm-hmm.
That's what my coach been saying to me for the last couple of weeks. It's like just go out there, be Fabian, calm, calculated, aggressive, and that's what's gonna get you the win. So that's it. No overthinking from my part. Just going out there and letting it all go, and I get that win.
And so have you made any changes to your training camp just because it is your first training camp for a major world title?
Not even, if I'm honest, not even. Obviously, it's a 5 round fight, so I've made sure that I'm prepared for a 5 rounder. You know, and I'm being able to manage the pace for that 5 rounds, and yeah, that's it. You know, I feel like my brother was saying you don't want to start doing mad stuff. Like
Mhm.
just because you're fighting for a title, you don't want to start doing mad stuff that's gonna burn yourself out.
Yeah. So speaking of your brother, I only have one question for it because,
Yeah,
I see some of your other interviews and it's Leon this and it's like, no, we're talking about Fabian
yeah,
Edwards. You know what I'm saying? But how much has he been a part of your training camp? Is it a training partner? Is he there every single day, every step? How much has he been associated?
Now he's been there. You know, I've always said like Leon's a brother where it's like, okay, you can do your thing. You know, I'll let you do what you're doing. But then he will always come in with information that's like, okay, because he sees little details. Yeah, I mean, everyone that's around me, all the coaches, Leon sees little details that you're like, oh, okay, that's why that's not happening, or that's how he does it. That's how Johnny does it. You know what I mean? So to find those little details, I think that's going to make them. That's what's going to make the difference. You know.
And so the fight against Johnny Eblen, how do you see this one ending?
I've already said it. I think it's going to be second or third round TKO, or it's going to be a 5 round where I absolutely piece him up, and that's what I see it.
And so once you do become the champion, what do you think is going to be the biggest change in your life?
No. If I'm honest, nothing. I love training, so regardless of belts and all of that, I'm in the gym constantly. You know what I mean? So I think once I achieve it, it would just kind of confirm to me that yeah, you've been doing the right work. You know, so I think that's all it is. I'll be like, yeah, I've done the right work. Let's carry on. Let's try to get to our next level.
And that's all I have for you today. Once again, man, I really do appreciate all your time and I hope for all the best in your next fight and moving forward in your career.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Have a great rest of your day.
Yeah, you too.